Welcome to your Daily 5 for Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. In an example of news that I think that everybody on the planet, no matter your interest level, is aware of by now, the U.S. is in a on-again, off-again trade war with virtually the rest of the entire world, applying tariffs to every type of product you can think of, then applying exceptions and exemptions, and then basically saying those exemptions and exceptions might lapse. Now, I'm not going to get into the politics of any of this. I certainly don't think that any of this myself personally is a good idea. But there is one thing. I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about the disruption that this is going to have on different sectors. And one of the side effects of it would result in people not buying new things that they absolutely didn't need. So obviously things like groceries, daily and weekly necessities, those types of things, those people are going to feel that pain no matter what because, you're going to have to pay to eat. But things like, say, cars or electronics or any number of things that, I'll tell you what, people are going to have a whole new awareness of where the things they buy come from. But one of the things is anything that is not an essential necessity is likely going to get pushed further and further down. Very similar to what happened in COVID with certain products just because of the scarcity, because the supply chain was caught unaware because nobody expected this to be coming. So you had a period of time where buying graphics cards, for example, you would be paying $1,000 to $2,000 for a graphics card that otherwise might be $300 or $400 or even less. So there's going to be something similar here where people are going to have to decide whether they can just wait to buy things. And as much as that doesn't seem like something positive, I wonder if it is going to basically layer on top of an effect that came out of COVID, which is there were people who realized, well, I don't need to upgrade, say, my phone every year. We have seen a slowdown in those types of things. And that might happen again now, where there are going to be things where people look at them and say, well, do I really need to get the newest version of this? Because it's not a good thing that many people are driven and many companies market that you need to upgrade all the time, that the newest thing is so much better than the last thing, when the reality is that in many cases, it's only a few percentage points better. And yet you will hear, even in shows where they seem to be telling people you don't need to upgrade, they will also, and this could be cars, this could be really anything, you will then hear the people still espouse what's so great about the newest version of whatever. The most common thing with this is Apple products, but it's also with cars. Okay, this year's car gets this point whatever mileage better than the last one. Even if realistically, when you factor in wind resistance and other things that people don't think about, properly inflating your tires, keeping your windows open or closed, driving the optimal speed limit for the engine you have, you might not really be getting any of those savings that you think you are, because they're just using baseline numbers under, again, ideal circumstances. So maybe this, because there's no way to know how long some of the effects of this, even temporary tariffs, are going to be. So maybe this is going to get people further away from the idea that they need to upgrade for things when what they have is absolutely satisfying the needs that they have. Most practical people do that anyway, but marketing and just the general kind of way that people look at things now, there is this idea that you always have to have the best and brightest and newest thing that there is. Not a new concept. I'm not saying that got invented recently, but I think that now that people are much more aware of pricing, and especially if they see severe spikes in certain things, maybe this will actually get people to think a little bit more pragmatically about what they actually need, what they want, and whether what they want is something that is based on a really material benefit or if it's all marketing and illusion. I'm not saying it always is. There are cases where people have things. I ran into this not too long ago where I had, a computer that just was not able to do what I needed it to do anymore. And that was, I talked about this with the MacBook Pro that I had that was 8+ years old. Finally, after all that time, which is unusual within a laptop space, it finally simply wasn't able to do what I needed it to do. And that's the reason that I upgraded it. Not because there had been, I don't even know, probably 7 or 8 different versions of a new laptop in between there, but it was doing what I needed it to do. And in many cases, that's true of most of the things that we have that are utility products. They generally do what we need them to, but we are kind of psychologically, I was going to say sociologically, but psychologically, same difference. We're basically made to think we need the newer thing. Maybe now that we're seeing price spikes, one of the few, if any, positive benefits of that is that people will come to that analysis with a fresh point of view later.